Oh, oh, oh. I'm gaining weight in middle age. Here, I got my Dale Earnhardt hat. This will keep my forehead from getting washed out. Got this in 2001. This hat's over 20 years old. Can you believe it? And that's the thing. You grow up and you grow up fast. Where'd the last 20 years go? And that's the thing about middle age. It just suddenly hits you. A few weeks ago, my wife and I sat down on a Sunday afternoon to watch a movie, and on Amazon Prime it came up, movies recommended for you, and the movie in the number one spot was Black Dog from 1998, starring the late Patrick Swayze and Meal Loaf, and then Randy Travis. It was directed by Kevin Hooks, who also did Passenger 57. I remember when the movie came out in 1998, May of 1998. I was still in high school. I was in Iowa. I was sacking groceries at the local Fairway. I grew up in rural northwest Iowa. Me and all my high school buddies, when a movie about semi-trucks comes out, of course we had to see it, and then eventually we bought it on VHS. It was one of our favorite movies. And it was so great to watch again, and that's one of the things that's so cool about streaming services, because you can see all these old movies like Black Dog again. It kind of takes you back to the late 90s, all that great nostalgia. Critics really didn't care for it, and it was up against some cinema heavyweights back then. There was Godzilla, the Matthew Broderick one. There was Saving Private Ryan, some big films, and Black Dog kind of got overshadowed. But it's a gem all these years later, and even more so because guys like me, we're in our middle age now, we're in our 40s. But Patrick Swayze and Meal Loaf are no longer here. And it's interesting to, watch a movie like Black Dog again. The story is pretty straightforward. Like Patrick Swayze is in Roadhouse as Dalton, he's cool as a cucumber, cool, confident, and in control. Patrick Swayze plays Jack Cruz. He's a truck driver that loses his license. The reason why is revealed later in the movie. He's working in a New Jersey shop as a mechanic, and his boss comes to him and says, "Hey, I want you to go down to Atlanta, and I'll pay you 10 grand to drive this load back up here. No questions asked," right? Of course, Patrick Swayze goes home. He tells his wife. It kind of leads to a disagreement, but wouldn't you know, Patrick Swayze, his family, they need the 10 grand to prevent the bank from foreclosing on their house. Patrick Swayze gets down to Atlanta. That's where he meets Wes and Sonny. Sonny turns out to be cool in the movie. Wes is a total tool. And then eventually he meets Randy Travis and Meal Loaf. Randy Travis is cool in the movie. Meat Loaf's character acts like a saint, but he's not. As the movie goes on, we find out that the truck that Patrick Swayze is driving, the Peterbilt, has an illegal load of weapons on it. And that's the reason why his boss wants him to haul the load back up north, off the books. There is some funny one-liners. Charles Dutton has a little clever riff about what the ATF stands for. Patrick Swayze has a couple of really good one-liners as well. If you're a country music fan, the soundtrack of Black Dog is phenomenal. Randy Travis has a cut on there, which is funny because in the movie he plays an aspiring country singer, and he's awful, and he annoys Patrick Swayze the whole time. Rhett Atkins does a cover of Driving My Life Away, which was originally done by Eddie Rabbitt. He does a bang-up job covering that old Eddie Rabbitt tune from 1980, so that song is as old as I am. If you can find it on YouTube, and we'll leave a link to it as well, there's an old interview with Patrick Swayze where he's sitting like this, and the Peterbilt from Black Dog is behind him. Patrick Swayze ended up owning that truck after the movie, but in that Entertainment Tonight interview, he talks about how he started helping his grandfather out when he was a kid and learned to drive truck that way. And then to film Black Dog, he actually went back to truck driving school to brush up on his skills. So when you're seeing Patrick Swayze up there on screen in Black Dog, that's him really driving the rig. What do you think of Black Dog? Are you like the critics back in the day where you're like, this is a bad movie? Or have you come to the point where you're like, that 90s nostalgia and semi-trucks are cool, and how can you beat a movie with Patrick Swayze and Meal Loaf in it, right? And then Randy Travis as well. What's your thoughts on Black Dog and movies like it from the late 90s? Do you come across them on a streaming service and get excited and go, oh my, I haven't seen that movie in forever? Let us know in the comments if Black Dog is one of those movies, or if there's any other movies that you like that you've come across recently and you said, I haven't seen that in years. I'm gonna get back to work, which means watching the rest of Black Dog. One of the most famous scenes in the movie. If you've seen it, you'll know it, and if it's been a while since you have seen it, you'll remember this. You'll remember this when you watch it again. In Detroit, on behalf of Automobile Blog, I'm Carl Anthony. Hey, look at that. That was good. That was good timing. I couldn't have timed that out any better.